Hey there, good afternoon. It is about 11:40 here, Central Time, and welcome to the Wednesday teaching. And I love this day so much. We spend time looking at the Hebrew roots of our Christian faith on Wednesdays, and I'm very excited to be here because it's a big day. We are moving out of the month of Adar, and we're moving into the month of Adar. So this year we get 2 months of Adar. So we're going to look a little bit at that and see how we're wrapping up the first month of Adar. So thank you so much for being here. I actually haven't been on in the last 2 weeks. There have been so much going on. And we finished up our coaching, our winter coaching, which was so awesome and so amazing. And I think I had an influx of GR clients, and it's been amazing, but I was kind of getting my bearings, and I'm happy to be back and very excited because I've been really studying out just moving into the month of Adar and what does it mean that in the year 5782 we have 2 months of Adar. Every 4 years we have 2 months. It's a leap year in the Hebrew calendar, and we actually get 13 months in that year. It's kind of cool. It begins Thursday. So tomorrow night at sundown is when Rosh Chodesh will start. So Friday will be like the first day of the new month of Adar 2. So that is where you want to take a Sabbath if you can. If you can't take the whole day off, at least know that you want to take it and make it special. Rosh Chodesh is a very important teaching, and it's a very important, I guess you could say, law. When you take the first day of the month and you set it apart and make it holy, God blesses the rest. And so he wants us to Sabbath. He wants us to spend that time with him. I always think of it like family time. He wants you to spend it with him. He wants you to spend time worshiping him, praising him, celebrating what you have because of him. So make the time with your family. It falls on Sabbath, a Shabbat, Friday night. We're going to have a Shabbat dinner and celebrate. That'll be the ending. So it's kind of cool. You get 2 Sabbaths in a row because Friday will be Rosh Chodesh, and Friday night ushers in, the Shabbat, the Sabbath for Saturday. So I plan to have a very relaxing couple days and connecting. So I'm excited about that. But so it's really cool to think about the Hebrew calendar, and they found that um, how even in our calendar we add that one day every fourth year, that leap year. But in the Hebrew calendar, they add a whole month because what happens is as the years go by and the days get longer or later, they found that they had to add a month to keep the seasons in alignment for farming and for all of those things. So it was to keep the seasons in alignment. So I wanted to jump into a little bit about Adar and remind us about what this month is because we're getting a double portion of it this year. So it's the month of joy. So we're getting a double portion of joy. It's very cool. It's connected to the tribe of Naphtali. And it's connected to the tribe of Naphtali is this saying, sweetness is to me. So it's about, I think about I can't remember where the passage is that talks about that the woman is blessed because her children she knows that her children are walking with God. And there's a sweetness about that. There's a confidence, a security. That's what comes up for me when I think about that. Like sweetness is to me. What comes up for you when you think about that? What is sweetness is to me? It's a time of celebration that your curse has been overturned. So cool that we get 2 months of this. So, what has God healed you from in this season? What is he bringing to the surface that sometimes can feel overwhelming? And I can't believe that I'm dealing with this or still dealing with this. But remember, he always brings things to the surface for healing. And he is partnering with you in that healing. It has been an incredible honor to be a part of this last coaching that we have just finished. We've just finished the winter season coaching for self-care, soul care. And I have experienced and gotten to witness not only my own, but incredible breakthrough that I've seen in the women and men that were a part of our group. It's been mind blowing. And we actually have been doing breakthrough sessions because that's something that we have added in to our self-care, soul care practice is breakthrough sessions. And if you want to learn more about that, this is something that we have begun to do in our coaching groups. And it's an hour long, very specific, I would say intense, where we're going to get down to root things you won't even know going into it what is going to be exposed. It's really incredible to see. But if there's any of you that have gone through a breakthrough and you want to share a little bit about it, about what you've gotten on the other side, please feel free to either put a post or do a video, whatever you want to share about it. But man, it has been so incredible to witness and be a part of some of the incredible breakthroughs that I've gotten to see and be a part of, and my own as well. It has been quite a season of breakthrough, huge breakthroughs. So feeling very much like God is preparing. Are you feeling that way? That these breakthroughs are to prepare us, right? It's not just about us. It's not just about you. God is healing you for you and your relationship with Him. And it's also for is and how many people you're going to be able to influence and support and inspire and help with that. So, and whatever that looks like, whether it's just a prayer together, a friendly word, whether it's a book that you're going to write, whether it's a business you're going to start, like wherever it is on the gamut, it's so important. And how cool is it to feel alive like this, to feel like your life matters, there's a purpose, and all the breakthrough. It's so invigorating and inspiring. So it is a joy. So a lot of Hebrew scholars teach that having an extra month of Adar is having a double portion of joy. And it's about second chances, also, is what it represents. So that you can finish anything that you didn't in the first month. I feel grateful because I feel like it's giving me a month, an extra time of preparation going into the spring. There's so much in the spring when we think about Passover and we think about what that led to, and that led to, gosh, there's so much teaching on that, but leaving bondage and learning to live in freedom, learning to live in that, and how God took his people through the wilderness to prepare them to take their promised land. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. So we get a second month or some more time to prepare for that. I'm very excited. The month of Adar is connected to Pisces. That is the constellation that it is connected to. It's two fish, plural, right? It's about finding supply. And it's about finding supply in the spiritual world, in the spiritual realm, not in yourself, not in what you can make happen, but in the spiritual realm. So lean into that. What is God calling you to overturn worry through supply? Remember the power that you have when you pray in full authority to repent from agreeing with a spirit of poverty, with a spirit of anxiety, with a spirit of worry or doubt. You have the ability to do that. And when you pray, that's what you have control over. God's going to deal with the spirit, right? What you want to deal with is your obedience. Who are you going to obey? Who are you going to align with? So it's a very powerful thing. Our words have the power of life and death. And when we repent from agreeing with a spirit of doubt, of curses, really, then we get to just, we don't even have to worry about that. God totally takes it and runs with it. He's just waiting for us to partner with him to take us into the promised land. We're going to talk about that in a couple months when we get to the month of Av, which is the month that the Israelites didn't enter in. And the 9th of Av is known as the saddest day in the whole calendar for God. Because he was like, we're here, we're going to take this. I've created all this for you. And they turned back in fear and in doubt. and even mistrusting him and what his plans were. Man, it's the oldest trick in the book that Satan has, right? Isn't that what he did to Eve? Put up doubt. Oh, God just doesn't want you to have what he has. It's an insidious thing. So whatever those curses are, this is the month to cut that tie and to align with what God is calling you into, where God is taking you, who he says that you are. So instead, we want to align with receiving his promised supply, right? It's a month of breakthrough to any roots of depression and despair. There is literally such a spirit of death over the world right now, right? We're in a spiritual battle like we've never known in our lifetime right now. We are. There's a spirit of death, physical death, emotional death, despair, despondence, separation, all of these things, right? Division. Oh my gosh, all of these things. And ultimately, it's also a death over our dreams. It's a death over our hopes, and it's a death over our destinies. Really, what we are here to do is stand in full agreement with you to fight for and for to help you step into your destiny that God has called you into. We love that more than anything. Our tagline for Get Inspired is bridging the gap between inspiration and destiny, because we want to be filling in that space, bringing you the tools, bringing you the resources to step into where you're getting called. Inspiration is great, but we want results, right? We want to help you move into. And one of the parts of that came to me a couple days ago when I was talking with someone about it is this idea of God calling us into the promised land, right? And partnering with us. And we talk a lot in here about Sabbath rest. And I want to remind you about dominion rest. Like, think about that on a daily basis, because dominion rest is when you're experiencing the peace and the shalom that you feel when you're stepping into where God is calling you. I think about David when he's talking in Psalms about he's in the battle and he's surrounded, and yet he knows the power of God with him. And that dominion rest is when you have fought through and slayed the giants that have tried to oppress you, and you are feeling that alignment, like you're moving with the current, not against it. You're not fighting against yourself and self sabotaging behaviors. It's one thing to come out of those things, and it's another thing to live in the freedom. And that's what we love to. So think about dominion rest and think about what that piece is. And really, when you think about it, when you feel like you're purposeless, when you feel like you have no purpose, it's such a depressing place, right? When you feel like, what is my life about? So stepping into your purpose is scary. It brings like a feeling of anxiety in a way, like anxiousness, but it's alive, it's living, and stepping into your purpose is so important. And there's not just one, by the way. We're not just here for one thing. Our lifetime, our seasons are a journey with God. I share in this all the time. Is one of my favorite passages in Psalm is when he's talking about blessed are those whose hearts are set on pilgrimage, on the journey. And what a powerful thing to be in alignment with and in partnership with. So there is a special celebration that happens in the month of Adar, and it is called Purim. And when a year has 2 months of Adar, Purim always falls in the second month of Adar, because it's going to be in the month closest to Pesach, because there is a connection between the blessings of Purim and Pesach, which is Passover. So this year, Purim falls on March 16th, which is a Wednesday. So we'll be talking about that in a couple weeks, more so. And so it's a Wednesday and Thursday, the 16th and the 17th. And the word Purim actually means dice. It means dice. And in the story of Esther, that's where you're going to learn all about it and what Purim is about. There was a man named Haman, and he was very wicked. And he had a scheme, and along with the spirit of the Antichrist, he used dice to set a date to exterminate the Jews from the Persian Empire. and the dice landed on 13. So the date became the 13th of Adar. And everything was set up to destroy the Jewish people, to take them out, literally by the signature of the king. And Mordecai, who was Esther's uncle, goes to her and tells her that she is put there for such a time as this. So she put her life on the line, approached her husband, the king, and told him of Haman's plan. And in doing that, she had to basically uncover the secret, her secret of who she was. She was Jewish, and the king did not know this. So not only did she put her own life on the line because the Jews were about to be killed, she basically stood with them and told the king that she would also then die with her people. So the king loved her, and through that love, he stopped the executions. And it was through Esther that God delivered the Jews. So on the gallows that Haman had prepared for Mordecai and all the Jewish people, he was hung. He was hung on those very gallows. I love what that represents. That represents that when there is a plan against God's people, it will be turned on the very people. So take that to the bank right now. I know that there's a lot of feelings right now that I have, like, when is there going to be justice? When are things going to come to the light? This is a month to celebrate a huge victory in for God's people through a woman who was placed somewhere, who was prepared, and who stepped into her destiny. Beautiful, beautiful story. I love it. So, the word Adar also means strength. It literally means strength. And I love how that story of Esther is happening right in the middle of this month because her story is filled with strength, with favor, with that positioning and being prepared to be in position. Um, what a mantle she was given. And it makes me really think of, what mantle is God giving me? And what am I doing? I'm aligning with it. I'm surrendering into it. And God has given me tools to heal things that stop me from being able to do that. That stop me from receiving the gifts, receiving the blessings, and receiving what God is calling me into. So the joy of the month of Adar is what makes it a pregnant month. And so this year is double the blessing, double pregnant, with 2 months, and it's a season to celebrate endings. We talked about that last time when we talked about Adar. It's very powerful to think about celebrating endings. Very rarely do we celebrate an ending, and it's in celebrating the endings that we can truly embrace new beginnings. It's so important. One of the things that we did in our winter self-care soul care is we celebrate the year before. And we celebrate it by being intentional about processing it. What an amazing way to celebrate. When I think about, like, some of the most encouraging things, you have a birthday for someone. Let's say you throw them a big party. Let's say it's a big birthday, like the 50th or the 40th or whatever. And one of the most encouraging things about a celebration like that is when you get a group of people that love this person and they all share. And they share about their experience with that person. They share about how they've inspired them or why they love them so much, why they're there to celebrate them. And so when we're celebrating something, we're speaking about it. And in doing this, what we do in self-care soul care, we're speaking about, we're taking the time to process that. So we're going to speak about the positive, and we're going to look at the hard things, and we're going to process those so that we can make sure that our perspective, that our mindset is aligned with all that God has for us. We can go through things that are painful, and they can really affect our ability to see hope. And there's a way to process through that, to legitimately and authentically get to a place of forgiveness and hope and alignment. So we love that. And in self care, soul care, that is the bottom line. That's the foundation of what we do and who we are. And so we want to learn how to process life, whether it's seasons, whether it's losses in emotionally healthy ways. So, what a statement of being intentional, right? About learning all that you can from everything that you're experiencing. And God has these cycles in the earth realm to draw forth your identity, to draw forth. There's a lot in there that does that. And every year, as we get to cycle through familiar seasons, but every year we're in a different place with them, aren't we? So we are a new creation every year. So there's a familiarity, but then there's also this newness that we get to experience and grow and mature, right? So the opposite of worry and anxiety is supply and abundance. So focus on what you want, focus on those things. Be intentional about who you are creating daily. You're creating you daily. You are, honestly, you already are. You are by your thoughts, by your beliefs. So, what are you creating? What are you already creating? What is your mindset that you live in? If you're not careful, the giants in your life will produce fear and they want you to stop moving. They want you to stop moving forward. So, this is the last month of the Hebrew calendar, this month of Adar. We get one more extra month, and then we move into the spring. And in the Hebrew calendar, it's not the end of the year of 5782, but God rearranged the months to begin with the spring. And so, will you let her out? So God let her God let her out. Daisy. So God changed the months in the calendar to begin with the exodus of his people. How amazing is that he wants his months to begin with freedom, with that expression of celebrating that freedom, celebrating the ending of bondage and the beginning of freedom. So next month is when we're going to talk about, we're going to move into Passover, into Pesach, and we definitely want to prepare for that. So I'm excited because the enemy wants you to end the year with fear in you that keeps you from moving into the fullness of the next season. And remember that you have the authority to break off any decrees that have been set against you. You have the authority to break them off. Remember, it's a simple prayer to repent from agreeing with. Name it. What is it? Repent to agree with it. So we are with you. We are completely committed, 100% in to be aligned with you as we move through these seasons. We want to stay in alignment with God and move from blessing to blessing, move from where we're experiencing that. So we want to be ready to move into our next dimension of blessing as we go into this next year, the next spring season. So we're going to take this month to prepare for next month, to prepare for the spring. This next year, or I should say this year, Pesach, Passover, falls on Good Friday, which is kind of cool that the calendar is aligning this year. And we're very excited because what starts right after Pesach is counting the Omer. And so we are planning that. We're going to be releasing in the next week or so how we're going to be doing that. We want to do that with you. We really want to take just blow up what this spring is about, just stepping into the freedom that God is calling you and I into and seeing what he has in store. This is a year of double blessing. It's a year of 2-2. We're in 5782, but we're also in the year 2022. And there is just so much power in that. Remember, 2 is the number for a witness, for a safe witness. And that is what we are. That is what everything we do revolves around, being that for and with you. So have a beautiful and blessed week. We love doing these Wednesdays with you. Can't wait to see what's coming up next. So enjoy the week. Enjoy ushering in a new month. Take advantage of some Sabbath time this weekend where you can really set apart time to God, and develop a routine, develop something that you do as a family, as a household, with friends, to set it apart and make it special. So love you guys. Have a beautiful and blessed day.